C is a tricky key for blues because it's really hard to get it not to sound bright and folky. But in this lesson, I want to show you 3 things you can do to start to turn C into your new favorite key. Check it out. So the first step to making C sound more bluesy is to make the groove itself a little grittier. And we can do this by playing damped or ghosted notes on beats 2 and 4. I recently did a whole lesson on this in A minor, and I'll put a link to that down below. And I'll recap the idea here now as our first step in C. So for alternating thumb in C, the bass is going to be going, the thumb is going to be going from the 5th string to the 4th string, and then to the 6th string and the 4th string. And you're going to be rocking back and forth with your ring finger in the left hand, in the fretting hand. All pretty standard. Sounds like pattern picking or Travis picking or whatever you like to call it. But what we're going to do is relax the grip in the fretting hand on beats 2 and 4. And what I'm doing is literally just not pressing down for beat 2. Just if I'm pressing down to hold the C chord on beat 2, I'm relaxing the whole grip so my fingers are still touching the strings in the shape of a C chord, but I'm not actually pressing my fingers down to the fingerboard itself. I'm doing the same thing on beat 4 so that I get this percussive sound on beats 2 and 4 that doesn't really have a pitch. So that is the first step. The next step is to just open up the palette of notes that we play over C from the obvious major sounding ones to a more intentionally bluesy sounding set of notes. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm in C, all well and good. That's basic major pentatonic notes. That's what's sitting right under your fingers. But what we want are these notes. Those are the blues notes. That's the C minor pentatonic scale. So the second step is just to say, well, where are those notes and how am I going to get them? Got the 5th, the flat 7, the root, the flat 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Now some of these notes we can get as part of a chord. I mean, there's the 5th. If we play a C7 chord, there's our 7th. Again, playing a C7, we can include the root. This one is a little tricky. And this is kind of where the rubber meets the road because we don't want to hear that on top. We want to hear this. So we can play the root and the flat 7 and the flat 3rd and give it a little bit of a quarter tone bend, sort of pushing up towards the major 3rd, but never getting there. You don't really want it to sound like, because that's too bright, and you have to tilt your head a lot to do it. You want to just kind of goose it a little bit. And then here's the 4th, and then here's the 5th, which we can also get as part of this shape, which looks kind of like you took a B7 chord and you slid it up 1 fret. But here's the root and 3rd and flat 7 of C, and then we're going to stick the 5th on top. So for some of these notes, we can get the notes as part of a chord. So step 2 is just figuring out where the notes are that we want. And then step 3 is to try to put those first 2 things together. We know we have the bass doing this, and we know we want these notes. And so, like I talked about in the A minor lesson, you're not going to necessarily hold down a legit chord shape aside from the bass. You're going to let whatever fingers are free on the fingerboard just play lazy and drape across the string, so that if you're doing a bass note on 2 or a bass note on 4, just whatever is going on over here is just going to be lying as flat as it needs to get those dead notes. So if you're trying to play this note, you're not really even holding down this shape, much less this shape anymore. You're just holding down a bass that's going like this. And then you're getting your pinky to do the bend. And then you're just letting the underside of this finger do the damping. So you're going to hold down this basically almost like a bar from the 5th string. And you're going to rock back and forth between the 5th string and then relax your grip. And then the 6th string, and then relax your grip. And from there, you can just try doing the same thing with all the other notes you need. Right, so here when you've got the root on top, the ring finger is doing the bass, and it's just going to relax and make that little bar across the 3rd fret. Now it's the ring finger doing it. So you could try just doing that with the ring finger, and then try to get the root. So you could just move between these different notes, and then for the 5th on top, you can grab this whole B7 looking chord, which is really a C7, and then just relax your grip on that to get those 2 and 4 backbeats. Same thing for the flat 7. You can grab the bottom 3 notes, the root, the 3rd, and the flat 7. So now we've got 4 of the notes in the scale, so we can start to do some stuff. So just a little riff like. Maybe if you want to get that sustained sound, you could hear the full bass on all 4 beats for a little while. And since you don't have a lot of notes to work with, you can use more repetition than you might ordinarily think of. So So that's the idea. And of course, you can expand beyond the C chord and use this in any tune that's based in C and apply the same ideas to, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, whatever you got. And so on. So if you're a fingerstyle guitar player looking for new ways to adapt your groove to different tunes, to build your repertoire, maybe even start improvising, or just get your right hand coordination, your picking coordination dialed in, I encourage you to check out my membership, the Fingerstyle 5, which you can learn more about at the link below or the link on screen. If you've got a question about today's lesson, I would love to hear from you. Please leave your questions and comments down below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.